I am the devil. I am the Lord Satan from the netherworld, ruler of the damned and eternal king of hell. Even I, the master of deceit, can only stomach so much bullshit from the mainstream media and indie grifters. That's why I tune in to Morning Extra with Uncle Warren, because he eliminates my competition, and also because I know I'm gonna see that motherfucker soon.
Deo, Deo.
Baby's got a burger and a shooter and that shit is all go down. Baby's got a burger and a shooter and that shit is all go down. Corrosion to her thighs, erosion of her pride.
Where the hell you fuckers been? Sorry. I had to dust everything off. I had to... Cause we've been gone for a month. 1 month. Probably should have been more. Probably should have been less. Who knows? Well, we're here now, so fuck it. Chicken in a bucket, fuck it. Good morning. In case you forgot, I'm this guy. Host of Saturday Night Live from 1978 with special musical guest Crocus. That never happened. Yeah, I gotta shout out my buddy Bella in the chat. Good friends with John Anderson, lead singer from Yes. I'm a big Yes fan. I like Yes. I never say no to Yes. So I'm sure that joke has never been made. Good morning, Willie. Willie already right out the gate. Emma Vigeland is still an awful person for $5. You know what? I'd buy that for $1. I'd buy that for $5. John said we'd been hiding in the basement. I was wondering what that noise was down there. I'm like, what the hell? John, good to see you. Thank you, Willie. I appreciate you. I appreciate Willie having me on his birthday, the Willie Bragg birthday bonanza that I like to call it, on Tuesday. That was fun. I appreciate that, Willie. There was a good time. Willie, when is your birthday? I thought you said Wednesday was your birthday. Is today your birthday? Hang on a second. I got a little Batman tilt going on here. I gotta fix this. Okay, very good. Probably need to fix this too. Okay. I'm very picky about my framing. So thank you for that, Willie. Whenever the fuck your birthday is, happy birthday. 69, baby. Not the age. That's the year. But it's always great, when like Willie and I and Lainey, we're all born in 1969. So whenever somebody says, "Oh, what year were you born?" we go, 69. Woo! Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. Bella, again, thank you. I appreciate that. John, good to see you, my friend. We got Steve Wilbrandt in the house, too. Good to see you, man. Chuck's Intergalactic UFO Show. I believe a new episode of that will be coming out pretty soon. So look for that. Some weird shit. I love Chuck's stuff. He's always got that weird shit going on, and I'm always down for the weird. Global, good to see you. Who else is in the mix? We got a whole bunch of people. Max is here. Good to see you, bud. Let's see. CBC voter. Appreciate you. Kamashwari Kate. I know she just dropped a link in the chat for her radio show. Be sure to check her out. She does good work. I know I saw, who else is in the mix? I know I saw P-Stuff. Hey, P-Stuff, good to see you. And Miguel, of course, Miguel 5000, the quantum computer. Although I think he's starting to switch to AI now. We're going to see AI Miguel in here pretty soon. He'll be one of our AI overlords. And not bad. I'll take Miguel for an AI overlord. That's fine. He's a good cat. I'm pretty sure he'd be good in, computer form too. Desert Mantis, my friend. Good to see you too. And Zalippa, what a sweet surprise. You're a sweet surprise. Get out of here. No, don't get out of here. You know what I mean. Get out of here like that. Yeah, thanks everybody. All right, so I have to say, off the bat. So first off, I usually take a hiatus right after the holidays, right? Because back before I was doing this show, we were just doing the secret show and ExtraBulla Live with the interviews. And so we take a little break, kind of get away from things for a bit and then come back. This was kind of the same deal, but it was more kind of a mixture of things too. It's most of it was just like, doing 4 or 5 shows a week, 3 of those shows being 2.5 hours long. You get a little burned out, a little worn out. So there was that part. As for the coming back, I probably should have been back a couple of weeks ago, but I full disclosure, I suffer from severe anxiety and depression, and to be talking about murdered children every day is not exactly something that's good for the psyche. So I had to take a little break from that. In fact, like I said, I cut myself off from all the news that's been happening in the last month, right? I mean, except for every once in a while, like, hey man, did you hear about so and so? And it's just always just deflating to hear what's going on, Not like it was sunshine and roses when the Biden was administration was in here. Obviously, it doesn't matter who's sitting in the driver's seat. That car is going straight to shitville. Might as well be a driverless car because it's just going to go to the same place. Speaking of which, we got a poll. If you're watching on YouTube, we have a poll. Giggity, giggity, goo. That how fucked is America and the world at this point? And the options were pretty fucked, very fucked. No KY jelly here. Fun fact, for the longest time I thought KY jelly meant Kentucky jelly. I was like, oh, this must be Kentucky jelly, but no, it's not that kind of jelly. And Prison Honeymoon, which is in the lead right now, 32%. Followed by No KY here, and tied for third, very fucked and pretty fucked. As I didn't put a thing on there say, oh, things are gonna be. I think things are gonna be better. I'm not, because no, that's no, nope. Just like that meme with Godzilla going into the water and he's flipping you off. Nope. Thank you, Peace Dev. I appreciate you. Because I know I put some community posts. I said, yeah, I'll be back on Monday. And I just wasn't ready to come back. I wasn't ready to do this, get back into it. But now, I think we're ready to do it. Today, there's two references you may have noticed in the description and in the thumbnail. So news from the Mirror Universe. That's a reference to Star Trek. And the alternate universe where everybody is evil and there's like a handful of good people. And I believe that's where we're at. I think we're in the Mirror Universe, and there's alternate universe of us where everybody, it's like the Star Trek future, right? There's socialized medicine. Nobody has to use money. If you need food, you got food. If you need shelter, you got food and shelter. Prop, aka Sushi Gang. The name's so nice you said it twice. I love your forehead too. Aw. I look like I fell out of the back of the tour bus. I do, don't I? I'm not a handsome man, but thanks for pointing that out. Rick, good to see you, my friend. Never eat pasta with Romano cheese and cayenne sauce at midnight. Well, not unless you want that morning purge. You want the morning purge? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. I've done that. Got some chili, put some jalapenos in there, and and then fire in the hole. Good point, Desert. I take breaks from the news episodically. I wish I could take a break from America. I know, right? I just feel, hang on a second. I gotta get gross here real quick. You have to. Don't take your eye off the ball, but at the same time, don't get too sucked into it either, because you will develop depression. We don't want that to happen to you. I'm pretty sure you all know what medicine to take in order to deal with this shit. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here today. I don't think so. Mariana, thank you. Yeah, we took a little break to get things good. All the shows should be back. Today we're just doing it's going to be kind of a short show. It's actually going to be a lot shorter than it usually is. We're not going to go through a shit ton of stories. We're probably just going to cover 2 or 3 and maybe talk about it. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what stories are interesting you right now. Kind of help me get back into the loop, right? Like I said, today is just kind of easing back into it. you know, the Kentucky Fried Jelly. Yeah, that's wait. Where is it? There it is. There, Kentucky Fried Jelly. I don't want to know what those 12 herbs and spices are in that Kentucky Fried Jelly, Miguel. Okay. Oh, Mariana is a beautiful Latina lady. I thought you were a beautiful Latina lady. Oh, thank you, Kate. I appreciate you. Sending hugs right back to you, dear. And make sure you're checking out her radio show. Kate, go ahead and drop it in the chat there, your link again, so people can have it. Yeah. So today's just going to be kind of an out of sorts day, you know. Just kind of reacquainting myself with this shit. You know, it's funny. I was going through here. I was going to be back Tuesday, and here, fun fact and a pro tip for streamers out there: don't update Windows or your streaming software right before you do a show, because you think it's going to help you, but guess what? Shit breaks. It's like, well, this is not working, and you have to reboot it like 2 or 3 times. So, but anyway, today no excuses. Today the shit works, and everything's good. 10 coaches roll into the dust, chrome windows turn to rust, hang on inside. They know they must hanging on the green-backed words, "In God we trust." No one knew if the spirit died. Oh, are you doing Yes lyrics? I still can't believe you're friends with John Anderson from Yes. I love Yes, man. Fragile's probably one of my favorite albums, not just Yes, but just like, you know, of all the music too, right? South Side of the Sky. That's right, Rick. Your boss made Windows updates, right? That's why the window looks like devil horns, right? The W in Windows, it's devil horns. Oh, that's Peter Gabriel? Okay. All right, so let me fill you in on a few things too with the shows too. So I put it in the community post, but I don't know how many people read that shit. But so we're not going to do 3 shows a week anymore. It's going to be 2 shows on Tuesdays and Fridays. But hopefully this will allow me to do more. I've been lagging on the ExtraBulla Live shows, getting people in for interviews. It's pretty difficult, especially when people don't like you, when you want them to come on your show. It's like, well, I like you, but you don't like me. Oh, but it's okay. So we're gonna try and work on that and make things a little bit better too. There's some big old Jethro Tull in your weekend playlist. Oh, snot running down his nose. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, Aquaman. I know it's Aqualung, but I always wanted to do a parody of that song, Aqualung, and call it Aquaman. He's always talked to fish. Dun, dun, dun. He can't do shit on the land. Hey, Aquaman. Yeah, Yours is Nose Trace is a good one, too. That's better than that bass line. Sorry, I don't want to get a copyright strike for Yes. Okay, halfway into this hour, and we're already fucking up here. Wesley Donaldson, good to see you, my friend. Nobody on Rockfin and Rumble yet. We probably have our dodo lurkers over there. That's a Genesis reference, if you didn't know that. All right, so the meds are kicking in global good. All right, so I just kind of haphazardly picked a few things to just kind of talk about a little bit this morning, because I'm trying to ease back into this, you know. It's kind of like cold water. You kind of dip your toe in first to kind of gauge it, and then you're like, okay, let me get in there. Oh, Vangelis, P-Stuff, nice with the Vangelis reference. Vangelis doing they did the I think they did the score for Blade Runner, and me and Jimmy were doing the secret show. We had the Blade Runner cars and the Vangelis music, but I couldn't find a way to stop it, so we had just the fucking Blade Runner music the whole damn show. Oh, so every time I think of Vangelis, I think of that show. Oh, good times. All right. So we have some things to talk about this morning. So we all knew Trump was going to be worse with Gaza, with Israel, suckling at the teat of Mother Adelson, and as she nurses him that tainted, rotten Zionist milk. And we knew that was going to happen. So I just want to say, for those people, not you guys are cool, but some people are like, well, see, I told you it's going to be worse under Trump. It's like, well, it wasn't good at all under Biden. It was still horrible, right? We were still, the American people were still getting fucked over, right? They were still sending money to Israel and Ukraine. They were still, approving an almost $1 trillion defense budget. Now we knew things were going to get worse because things have been getting worse for a long time. I would say, in my lifetime, some of you elders out there might know better, but I think it all started like this vein of fuckery has started with Reagan. It started back in the 80s and the Reagan Revolution, and you had the evangelicals who helped supported him, and they have their own agendas as well. Desert, you say you still don't think it's worse under Trump? I think Israel is worse under Trump, but not that much. It's really, you hit rock bottom with Biden. It's really hard to go much lower than funding genocide, right? Well, you think he's better, or you don't? What do you think, Mantis? You think he's about equal to Trump? To Biden, or do you think he's do you think he's better than Biden on Israel? See, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Yeah, there was a whole ass genocide, libs. It was pretty fucking bad. Yeah, it was pretty yeah. That's like saying, you're in a house fire and you're trapped in this house, and the garage catches on fire too. Well, yeah, the situation's worse, but is it really worse than you for you, because you're still in the burning house. Yeah, that's true. No, I don't think he means in general. I think he's just talking about Israel. But yeah, it is getting worse. Look at all these dumbass shits that he's doing, right? Oh, all right, fuck it. Let's get to it. Or at least let's get to this one. This is one in particular I thought was just dumb as fuck. So you have that idiot, Elon Musk and Vivek, chameleon, whatever the fuck his last name is, trying to go in there and gut all the social programs. Meanwhile, they talk about cutting the military budget in half, but they're not going to do that shit. No one's going to allow them to do that. Don't get those foolish notions in your head if you have those. All right, so from antiwar.com, this is State Department to use AI to revoke visas of students who, quote, appear pro-Hamas. Right? So this is from Dave DeCamp. I don't know why my dark mode is not working. I think my computer became racist. It doesn't like dark mode anymore. I didn't teach you this, computer. It's the AI and the computer like, we don't like black people anymore. Well, fuck you too. So State Department to use AI to revoke visas. Secretary of State and thirsty water drinker Marco Rubio is launching an AI-driven effort to revoke the visas of foreigners in the U.S. who appear pro-Hamas in a crackdown targeting pro-Palestine protests on college campuses. That's according to Axios yesterday. What does appear pro-Hamas mean? Right? What does that mean? First off, that's illegal as fuck. That there's going to be so much shit going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's, I think, overturned like a lot of shit Trump's already been trying to do. The report said the effort will involve AI-assisted reviews of social media accounts of tens of thousands of foreign students in the U.S. on visas that will look for evidence of alleged terrorist sympathies expressed after Hamas's October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel. Oh, the day of living infamy. Yeah, this is a straight-up scare tactic. Trying to scare those who, like, you know, going to school here. They're like, oh, well, I don't want to threaten my status, so I won't protest. That's what they're hoping. The language in the report suggests that any foreign students who attend pro-Palestine demonstrations or express sympathy for Palestinians online could be swept up in the crackdown, since opponents of the Israeli siege on Gaza or U.S. military support for Israel are often labeled pro-Hamas. Also, it's anti-Semitic, too. Don't forget that. They like to throw that out there, even though it's totally dumb shit to say that. Civil liberty groups have strongly criticized Trump's promise to deport foreign students who attend pro-Palestine protests, since the speech of foreigners inside the U.S. is supposed to be protected under the First Amendment. See, the Second Amendment is not the First Amendment. There's an actual First Amendment regarding free speech, but these people seem to have forgotten that. If we open the door to expelling foreign students who peacefully express ideas out of step with the current administration about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, we should expect it to swing wider to encompass other viewpoints too. Sarah McLaughlin, senior scholar at the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE, said in an op-ed, that's not the dog lady, right? The sad dog lady. In the arms of the angel, won't you please help? What kind of a sick fuck are you? That was a Sam Kinison bit. Why don't you give him your sandwich you made for the day, huh, Bob? Today, it may be alleged Hamas sympathizers facing threats of deportation for their political expression. Who could it be in 4 years? In 8, McLaughlin added. Abed Ayoub, head of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, told Axios that Americans won't like the State Department's effort because they'll view it as capitulating free speech rights for a foreign nation. The new State Department project is part of a broader administration effort against protests, which are protected under the First Amendment. Remember that. That are critical of Israel, which includes threats from President Trump that universities that allow what he called illegal protests would lose federal funding. The Department of Justice also launched a new task force investigating alleged incidents of anti-Semitism on college campuses. So there you go. So let's talk about this just for a second. Like I said, this is not like a new feature. We're not doing this every week. Like I said, we're just trying to ease back. I'm trying to ease back into this news cycle, and it's not like I really want to, but here we are. It's this kind of fuckery is what I'm talking about. They want to implant in people's weak minds that protesting Israel is evil. That you shouldn't protest Israel. Israel is our friend. It's our pally, right? They're surrounded by all these evil Muslims that want to just destroy them. Like if the United States didn't help them, they would just come in and attack at any second, just like they did in 1967 or in 1948 or both. I can't remember. But that's what we're facing here. This misinformation. So, Trumpy and the boy Rubio are are putting out misinformation on this, right? How does somebody look pro-Hamas, appear pro-Hamas, right? When you say you don't want children shot in the head, that makes you pro-Hamas? I think that makes you pro-life, actually, which is kind of ironic because I think the Republicans are supposedly pro-life, right? Remember when one of our presidents re-signed the NDAA on the last day of December in 2011? Oh, I know who that is. Allowing the extrajudicial assassinations of U.S. citizens? Yeah, we are feeling it personally now. Yes. Obviously, none of this stuff started with Trump. It's been said over and over again that Trump is a byproduct of a much bigger problem, not just here in the United States, but around the world, too. You're starting to see an upswing of far-right groups who, think about what's going on here. All right, you have a duopoly, right? You only have two real parties that can actually have a shot at the presidency, right? Yes, you have your Greens and your Libertarians, but come on. At this point in time, there's so much fuckery within those parties. No, they're not going to do anything. It's just all for show, just to make you think that you have a third option. You don't have a third option right now. Actually, your only third option is to get out in the fucking streets. That's your third options. You can sit there and say, wow, Trump's going to do good things. Or, once the Democrats get back in, they'll learn their lesson and they'll be strong for us. No, just no. What was that Michael Jordan meme? He goes, stop, get some help. It's not going to happen. Yeah. I know. Pro-life prenatally. Once you're born, you're on your own, pull, bootstraps, all that good stuff. Yeah. So, foam party Rubio, Google it. Okay. Might have to do that. I know you'll appear pro-Hamas, Wesley. That's right. So I don't know what shows like my shows. I don't really do politics or anything like that, right? This show we try to do just straight news. I throw in a little commentary here and there if I'm the mood strikes, but it is not really one of those shows, right? ExtraBulla Live is the same. We just do interviews, and then the secret show is butt plugs and whatever crazy shit we get into. But the yeah, exactly, Rick. General strike like fucking yesterday. It just seems at this point, it just seems like people are just kind of numb to it, that it's like it's some sort of unicorn that can never happen. Look what happened in Greece. What was it, last week or something? Now Greece they had a general strike. Yeah, it's Greece. They're a lot smaller than the United States, but still. But the way you get a general strike going is you can't just do it all at once. You have to make you have to make connections with people. You have to form relationships with people who work in these industries that can shut down capitalism as we know it, right? And for all you capitalists out there, I'm not saying capitalism in and of itself is evil. I think it's just been bastardized because we don't have capitalism here in the United States. We have crony capitalism. I'm a firm believer in a mixed economic system, one that benefits us socially. I don't see why in a country as rich as we are, why we have veterans sleeping under bridges, why we have tent cities. Tent cities? That's Hoovervilles. This is straight up like a Depression era type shit, right? Anyway, but that's what we have to do. We have to watch out for this stuff, and we have to educate our friends outside of this space, right? I don't like to think of us in some sort of bubble. We know a lot of people in the space, but a lot of us know people outside the space, and we talk to them, right? Family and friends, and sometimes you get in arguments. Sometimes it's throwdowns, and sometimes you get through to people. I mean, I guess, yeah, in a pure capitalist society, yes. But, and that's crony capitalism, Sushi. That's not, if everybody was on an equal playing level, capitalism wouldn't be a big deal, right? It's just nobody has the footing like some of these people have. Like take Elon Musk for example. This has been said over and over, but we'll say it again. He's not a super genius. He's a trust fund baby. He used his money to buy people's inventions and their ideas, and then he made them his own. Like he came up with the shit. Like he's in the fucking lab wearing the lab coat, you know, with the pocket protector and the pens, you know, looking into the electron. He's not doing none of that shit. He's not engineering shit. But that's the misconception people have that don't know about him. Why he's really going to clean up government? No, he's going to make it better for billionaires like himself, like Donald Trump, like Vivek Shawarma, whatever the fuck his name is. I know Shawarma was like a Marvel reference. Sorry. But they're not trying to help us. None of that Doge, none of that shit. Some people, well, so he's finding some fraud and waste. Maybe like some shit, little insignificant shits. But tackle the Pentagon budget. Don't come at us with this shit. If you're not, the Pentagon budget should have been the first motherfucking thing they went after if they were going to clean house. You know, get rid of a shit ton of those career motherfuckers in the Pentagon, in the CIA, in the FBI, all those agencies. Get rid of, you want to clean up the government? Get rid of the Patriot Act. Get rid of the get rid of all this excess bureaucracy that we don't need, that we never needed. That it was just an excuse to spy on Americans and keep you living in fear so that you will vote for the duopoly. You won't consider, maybe a strong third candidate, or maybe you won't consider a general strike. It's just too out of the realm of possibility. But, Democrats and Republicans haven't been around forever either. They started somewhere, and they can end somewhere too. All right, so you're kind of going to pivot to Israel here for a second. Come meet the new boss, same as the old boss. New Israeli army chief to present a plan to restart Gaza bombing and retake territory. Why? Because evil motherfuckers going to do evil motherfucking things. The new head of the Israeli military is set to present his plan for the renewal of Israel's campaign in Gaza and operations to retake territory that the IDF left during the first phase of the ceasefire deal, Haaretz reported yesterday. Eyal Zamir, who was sworn in as the IDF's new chief of staff on Wednesday, and vowed that Israel's mission against Hamas has not yet been completed, and other Israeli officials have been threatening to restart the genocidal war at a level not seen before. However, Israeli sources told Haaretz that they doubt the IDF will be able to draft the number of required reservists to enact Zamir's plan, which requires several troop divisions to be deployed across Gaza. The report said many officers in the reserves have made clear they would not volunteer to return to combat in Gaza since they think it would only be done for political considerations. Look at these cocksuckers. Ugh. Other sources told Haaretz that the Israeli military could restart combat in Gaza again, but the idea that it would be more intense than before is overblown as the IDF wants to keep its forces ready for the possibility of war with Iran. The Israeli military has been stretched thin as the IDF has invaded southern Syria, continues to occupy southern Lebanon, and has significantly escalated attacks in the West Bank. The current ceasefire agreement is hanging by a thread as Israel has imposed a total blockade on all goods entering Gaza. Of course, Trump's not, telling his buddy Bibi to let him through, a major violation of the deal. The Israeli military has also killed over 100 Palestinians since the truce went into effect on January 19th. Yesterday, Israel carried out a drone strike in Gaza, killing at least 3 Palestinians. The Palestinian news agency Wafa reported that the drone targeted a gathering of civilians east of the Shujaiya neighborhood in Gaza City. For its part, the IDF claimed it targeted people planting bombs, but provided, guess what? No evidence, because they never present evidence. That's the thing. They say, hey, look, it's like these, appear pro-Hamas. How do they appear pro-Hamas? I don't know. It's all relative to, my agenda, I guess. That's what they think. We can't trust anybody. Would be a great money, right? Instead of a God we trust, it says, I don't trust none of you motherfuckers. I just want to see the word motherfuckers printed on legal tender. We don't trust none of you motherfuckers. So yeah, things are not going to be better. Things aren't better under Trump. It's already, and even some of his own peeps are getting buyer's remorse. I saw these poll numbers the other day that compared to this time in his first term, I think he's down by like 10 or 15 points in the polls. I mean, not like he's trying to he can't get reelected, obviously, because it's a second term. And there's no way, I don't think there's any way that he's going to finagle a third term. You would need like super majorities like everywhere to change something like that. Because but here's the deal. If you can change the presidency and change it to make him have a third term, then you can put term limits on these motherfuckers. You can put term limits on the rest of these people. You can put term limits on the House and the Senate, the Supreme Court, and maybe we should start voting for the Supreme Court. Why do the presidents get to pick them? And why did the Senate have to get to approve them? Why can't we pick? We elect judges on the local level, I think. Read aloud on air the state's oaths to Israel. You will help everyone understand why we are so screwed. Also, Congress and Senate. The Israel is terrifying. These Zionists are terrifying. I think the Zionists are worse as far as like their reach and their ability to manipulate narratives. I think they're worse than the Nazis were, only because they have the technology to do it. Right? If the Nazis had the internet, if the Nazis had social media, how far would their reach go? Would we have won World War II? Did we really win World War II? Or did we just split up Germany and absorb their resources, a.k.a. Project Paperclip? Willie, you say 10-year term limit for those SOB judges? I guess that's fair, because it takes a while to get these court cases to the Supreme Court. Mexico is going to start electing their Supreme Court judges. That's why the U.S. was up their butts about how that would hurt the U.S. Very good. March 14th, the Senate votes on the horrible budget proposal the MAGA supporters have created. Mexico is doing judicial reform. They are planning on having elections of local, state, federal, and Supreme Court justice. Very good. Very good. We did. We gave some of them went to Brazil. Most of them came to the United States, to Washington, D.C., to make rockets for us, to get us to the moon, Wesley. Nazis got us to the moon, Wesley. Well, they got Stanley Kubrick to the moon so he could shoot his movie up there, which would be ironic. It's like it would be funny if the astronauts never landed on the moon, but Stanley Kubrick shot the moon landing on the moon. It is kind of weird. Don't wrap your head around that. Don't. Well, Sushi, it's not a political show normally. Okay, you've watched this show enough. You know this. It's just we're just kind of spitballing and shooting the shit and just talking about some of this shit today. But we're gonna be back to like news on Tuesday. All right, so just cool your jets. All right, we're not changing the format. We're just hanging out. Okay, it's all good. You love you some Claudia Scheinbaum, Willie. We've yet to see what I don't know. I like to think that some of these world leaders are going to try and make a difference, but I don't know. It just seems there's so much corruption, and yeah, I can't tell you enough that the Zionist reach that is happening is it. If you want to put it in terms of like comic book terms, the Zionists are Hydra, right? I think the Zionists are Hydra, and but instead of just being working in the shadows, they're everywhere, and you're expected to follow along with the narrative that if you don't support Israel, then you're pro-Hamas. If you don't support the shooting of children in the head, then you're pro-Hamas. And they're gonna keep hammering that narrative over and over and over and over again. Right? All right, so let's talk about these tariffs here for a second. So why your high prices all of a sudden are getting higher, right? But it's okay. Trump said we're gonna suffer. He said we, but he was saying you. As in, you, me, you be you. It is, Chuck. It is. It's fucking Hydra. But it's Hydra out in the open. And S.H.I.E.L.D. ain't doing shit. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s just like, they're not that bad. Just give them they're better than Hamas. That kind of thing. These tariffs are, exactly, John. They're taxes. You're paying for Trump's idiocy. He thinks that this is going to kickstart production and jobs here in America, and he knows he's full of shit because he's a businessman, and he knows other businessmen, and he knows their motives. They want cheap labor. You're not going to get cheap labor in the United States. That's why they outsource it. That's why your shit comes from China. There's this commercial that's come on, and they say, oh, we make these flags in America. We make these flags. These are American made and they tell you with quality resources or quality. I don't know what this is, but they don't mention where the material, quality materials, but they don't mention where the materials come from. They say, oh, we made it in America, but the materials are coming from inside the house. The materials are coming from China because that's where they get all the cheap shit. And these tariffs ain't going to do shit. So let's get to this, just kind of getting updated on what's going on with the tariffs. So, if I can get this goddamn mouse to work. I don't know. When I need this mouse to work, it doesn't work. When I don't need it to work, it's all over the place. All right. So Trump pauses some Mexico-Canada tariffs. What's exempt and what's next? So let's look at this. Shine bomb, harvest moon. Do. United States President and total clown face Donald Trump yesterday paused tariffs on several imports from Mexico and Canada for 1 month. Earlier, he had imposed 25% tariffs on almost all imports from both countries, except for oil, I think. He first announced a halt on the tariffs for Mexico after a phone call with that country's president, Claudia Scheinbaum, the future Mrs. Willie Bragg. Later, he extended that reprieve to Canada. So what happened? This is from Al Jazeera, by the way. On Thursday, Trump signed orders temporarily exempting goods from Mexico and Canada that are covered by the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement, the USMCA, from the 25% tariffs. The order suspending tariffs took effect today. These tariffs had kicked in on Tuesday, a month after Trump had first announced 25% tariffs on all goods imported from Mexico and Canada, and an additional 10% tariffs on imports from China in February. You notice they're not 25% tariffs on China, too, because the vast majority of imports comes from China as far as like shit that we use. We get a good bit from Mexico and Canada, but China, they're on top. The tariffs were initially supposed to come into force on February 4th, but Trump had postponed them by a month following negotiations with Sheinbaum and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. On Wednesday, Trump had temporarily exempted car manufacturers from the 25% tariffs for 1 month. The tariff pause announced on Thursday will remain until April 2nd. That's when Trump has threatened to impose a global regime of reciprocal tariffs on all U.S. trading partners. Each country will face the same tariff rates that it subjects U.S. goods to. But even before that, Trump is still set to impose a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum products, or as our friends across the pond say, aluminium. I think that's how they wrote it, aluminium. Imports on March 12th. Canada and Mexico are big exporters of these products to the U.S., particularly Canada, which supplies the U.S. with most of its aluminium. I love saying it like that. We're going to say that from now on. Aluminium, Doctor Who. In his Truth Social post, Trump wrote, "After speaking with the President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico, I've agreed that Mexico will not be required to pay tariffs on anything that falls under the YMCA agreement." The USMCA agreement. This agreement is until April 2nd. You know, it's fun to stay at the USMCA. USMCA. Trump added that he did this out of respect for Sheinbaum, adding the U.S. and Mexico have had a good relationship and the two countries are working together to regulate undocumented migration and the flow of fentanyl to the U.S. Man, they are really, you would think like fentanyl, like they at the border, like they have like some sort of fire hydrant with a hose and just spraying people with fentanyl. What is the USMCA? The USMCA is short for U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, free trade agreement negotiated during Trump's first term. It was signed in 2018 and came into force on July 2020, replacing the 1994 NAFTA agreement, which has agreement in the name, so it's just NAFTA. The USMCA is supposed to be reviewed every 6 years. How much relief does Mexico get? Well, details of specific products that will be exempt are unclear. The overall benefit to Mexican exports is significant. In 2024, Mexico's total exports to the U.S. were worth about $505.8 billion. According to the U.S. Census Bureau data, the exports that fell under the USMCA were about close to $250 billion. We'll round it up there. This means Trump's reprieve will apply about 49% of Mexico's exports, apply to about 49% of Mexico's exports to the U.S. What about Canada? In 2024, Canada's exports to the U.S. were about $412.7 billion. Out of these, about 156 were under the USMCA. Hence, Trump's pause applies to 38% of Canada's exports to the U.S. Almost all agriculture products traded between the U.S. and Canada fall under the USMCA. Additionally, for Canada, Trump's reprieve also applies to potash or potash. How do you say that? I've always read it. I've never heard it said. I know it's a fertilizer, but I've never. Potash? I think it's potash. The pause does not fully cover energy products on which Trump has imposed a separate 10% tariff. Canada is the biggest source of U.S. oil imports. So President Sheinbaum down in Mexico posted on X yesterday, we have an excellent and respectful call. We had an excellent and respectful call in which we agreed that our work and collaboration have yielded unprecedented results within the framework of respect for our sovereignties. Bureaucratic talk. You know, I want to see a bureaucrat or a president just say, you know what, this is some fucked up shit. I would vote for that motherfucker. As long as he's not like, you know, some shit fuck. While Mexico had initially planned to announce retaliatory tariffs on Sunday at a public event in Zocalo, the heart of the capital, Mexico City, that gathering is now poised to be more of a celebration of the reprieve. When Trump first announced the tariffs, Canada imposed retaliatory tariffs worth 30 billion Canadian dollars, that's 21 billion US, on U.S. products including orange juice, peanut butter, cosmetics, footwear, and paper products. The Canadian officials told the AP news agency on condition on anonymity that these tariffs would remain in place. Canada has delayed its second wave of retaliatory tariffs on $125 billion Canadian dollars worth of U.S. imports until April 2nd. That's according to Canadian Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc, who wrote that on the tweeters. Doug Ford, a brother of crackhead, his brother was a crackhead. I think he was the Ontario premier too. Also said the 25% tariffs on Ontario's electricity, which is supplied to 1.5 million Americans in Minnesota, New York, and Michigan, will remain. A pause on some tariffs will mean nothing until President Trump removes the threat of tariffs for good. We will be relentless, Ford wrote on the tweeters. So fuckhead Justin Trudeau up there is stepping down from his position after elections for his Liberal Party's leadership on Sunday. Told reporters he saw a trade war between the U.S. and Canada in the foreseeable future after he had a call with Trump on Wednesday. It was a colorful call, eh? It was also a very substantive call. Crepes, Trudeau said. Shortly after, the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, well, I don't know what the fuck's name. I don't know who these people are. Said during an event in New York, if you want to be a numbskull, like Justin Trudeau and say, oh, we're going to do this, then tariffs are going to go up. You know what? You don't really need you don't need the tariffs though. That's the thing. You don't. Oh, it's hey, Denver hanging out over on Rockville. Good to see you. It's potash. That's how you say it. Thank you. Learning is earning knowledge. So you can't fit that in. Yeah, so these people are saying, oh, well, these tariffs are going to be good. They're not. This is why I took a month off. So you have these tariffs are only going to hurt people. They're only going to hurt, and especially going to hurt poor people, because even some of this cheap ass food the off-brand cheap ass shit is going to go up too, and it has gone up. Right? You go to your local grocery store, go to your local Piggly Wiggly, and see that all that shit that used to be somewhat cheaper, right? You got to take out a second mortgage just to get a couple dozens of eggs. So Basant is the Soros fund guy. He works for the Soros fund for a decade. Yep. You'll never get regular ass people into national office. They're all bought and paid for on the way up. That's how they get in there. Right? But what about AOC? She was just a waitress, just a small town girl, living in a lonely way. No, she's a fucking op, man. Nobody gets that high up. Nobody gets to be a squeaky wheel in government like that, unless you've sold out somehow. $1 loaf of bread is $2.50 now. I need some desert sunshine. I do. I'd love to, I'd love to live in the Southwest, but those summers, man, your tires melt. No, thank you. I know the global warming is going to make everybody's tires melt at some point, but I don't want to go to a place where your tires melt in the summer, but I love the desert. I'd love to do that. I'd love to go out there. John, you had to pay $10 for a pound of bacon. A pound of bacon, $10. Oh yeah, let's Yeah, they launched from SpaceX yesterday and crashed it. Yeah, let's go. I got that. I got that story. Let's go ahead and talk about that because these tariffs are frustrating as hell. You guys know tariffs they're not going to create jobs. They're not going to make corporations go, oh, all this money is terrible. That we better start making in America, start hiring Americans again. No. Stop. Get some help. Stop. Get some help. All right. So, but tell your friends, obviously. Inform your friends when they say, oh, well, these tariffs, why these high prices? You can thank, first you can thank Biden. You can thank Trump. You can thank all those fuckers. They are all to blame. So, we keep having these airplane crashes too, y'all. What's up with these airplane crashes? I know we said this about a month ago, and there's still crashes. And now SpaceX can't get their shit together. They got, SpaceX loses another Starship in latest launch with debris seen streaking out of the sky. All right, so 7 weeks after an explosion sent pieces of a Starship launch vehicle falling into the Atlantic, SpaceX on Thursday again launched its largest and most powerful rocket before losing contact with Starship several minutes into the mission. That's because Mickey Thomas quit the band. That's it. The Starship, we built this city. We built this city, but we can't build rockets. Boom. You get a Starship reference. I didn't think that was going to happen. All right. The more than 400-foot Starship, powered by a super heavy booster with 33 Raptor engines, lifted off successfully at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time from SpaceX's launch pad at its Starbase facility near Brownsville, Texas. That's not a good place to have a Starbase in Brownsville. They get a lot of hurricanes down there. But about 9 minutes into the mission, the ship began spinning out of control. This is Elon. This is Elon. So you say Elon's the genius? He can't get these fucking rockets in the air like that. 9 minutes into the mission, the ship began spinning out of control. Several of its engines flamed out, and mission control lost contact with the craft. So no astronauts were aboard the spacecraft. SpaceX discontinued its video feed of the launch without providing a location for the craft or where debris might land. In a post on the Twitter, SpaceX said the vehicle experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. That means it blowed up. So when you say rapid, unscheduled disassembly, that means it blowed up. And they just don't want to say that because it makes it sound like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. The FAA said it is requiring SpaceX to conduct an investigation into the mishap. Oh, they're going to investigate themselves just like the cops? You know, that always works out. In a statement, SpaceX said an energetic event or explosion, that's like saying unaliving yourself. You know what that means. In the aft portion of the Starship led to the loss of several engines, which caused the rocket to begin spinning, and ultimately a loss of communications. The company said its last contact with Starship was about 9 minutes and 30 seconds after liftoff. Turns out they were playing at a casino in Branson, Missouri at the time. I'm still going to make these Starship references. I don't care how young you are. The company said it will conduct a thorough investigation in coordination with the FAA and implement corrective actions to make improvements on future Starship flight tests. Shortly after the launch, ground stops were initially issued at Orlando International Airport, Palm Beach, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale yesterday evening due to space launch debris. The FAA said normal operations later resumed. There's some of the debris right there, or some of the rapid disassembly. You can see it right there. Kind of looks like those, what was it back in the 90s? Those, the comet, the Shoemaker-Levy comets that hit Jupiter. That's wild. They said if the Shoemaker-Levy comets had hit Earth, we'd be back to sticks and, living in caves. Photos and videos shared on social media showed possible rocket debris streaking across the sky in Miami and in Turks and Caicos in the Atlantic. Turks and Caicos. Again, I don't know how to pronounce shit. While the Starship was lost, Thursday's mission included the successful return and catch of the Super Heavy booster, one of the most technically challenging aspects of the mission. That is pretty cool. That these heavy, that they boost up and then they come back and they sit back down. If they can perfect that, then, But what we should be doing, we should be building shipyards in space. I think it's time to start doing the Star Trek shit. Start sending up stuff to the International Space Station and, start building. Yeah, it's probably going to take like 100 years or some shit like that. But, if you're going to do space travel and you want to save on the fuel, you're going to have to come up with new ways of propulsion and possibly, if you're not going to build it on the moon, at least build it in space. That Super Heavy first stage booster executed a controlled descent back to the launch tower, slowing down from supersonic speeds before being caught by the launch tower's giant robotic arms, in which the giant robotic arms gave it a hug and said, "It'll be okay, sweetie. It's okay. You want a sandwich? Are you hungry?" The return and catch of the first stage booster is considered one of the most challenging aspects of the mission. It marked the third time SpaceX has returned and caught the stage on booster using the launch tower. According to the company, Thursday's flight test was designed to push Starship's capabilities further than previous attempts. Well, they pushed them all right, not in the way they wanted. The mission was supposed to include Starship's first payload deployment and multiple re-entry experiments to get SpaceX closer to bringing the upper stage back to the launch site for an eventual catch. That would make Starship a completely reusable spacecraft. The company said the ship is designed for vertical takeoff and landing on any hard surface. Unlike SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, which has been flying with a partially reusable design for years, Starship is designed to be fully reusable and capable of carrying crew and cargo on long-duration interplanetary missions. That's what happened in Alien. Remember in Alien? The Weyland group? That's the thing. I always say, are we going to have a Star Trek future or are we going to have an alien future where everything's run by corporations? SpaceX said Starship can also carry larger payloads such as satellites and cargo than other launch vehicles currently in use and can support long-duration missions to the moon and potentially Mars. The company said that the spacecraft will eventually be capable of carrying up to 100 people on long-duration interplanetary flights. They better get that rapidly expanding blow-up shit fixed first. In January, SpaceX also lost a Starship spacecraft after Mission Control announced that it had lost all communications with the spacecraft 8.5 minutes after it blasted off. Debris from the launch vehicle was later seen falling over Turks and Caicos in the Atlantic. Am I saying that right? Is it Caicos? It's Caicos? I don't know what it is. The company believes stronger than anticipated vibrations led to propellant leaks, causing the ship to catch fire. The FAA slowed flights in and around Florida for a time because of concerns about debris damaging an aircraft. For Thursday's test mission, SpaceX said they incorporated several key upgrades to Starship, including redesigned forward flaps to reduce exposure to re-entry heating, a 25% increase in propellant capacity, allowing for longer duration missions and better performance, and a fully overhauled avionics system to improve reliability for complex operations. These things are huge. They're 400 feet tall. Okay? All right. Think about this. All right? So, a football field is 100 yards, right? That's 300 feet. Okay? You add the end zones, that's another 20 yards, right? So that's 120 feet. So that's about, that's about right. So if you take the end zones and a football field, turn it up right, turn it up vertically, that's one of these things. Huge. And yes, that is what she said. They also removed some of the ship's protective heat tiles to stress test vulnerable parts of Starship during re-entry while testing several variations of metallic tiles designed to protect the vehicle from extreme heat when returning to Earth. Now, I am a super fan of space travel. I think, there's helium-3 on the moon. We could go get that shit. I don't think Starlink is a bad idea. I just think it's in the wrong hands, right? I'm not opposed to, people somewhere out in the middle of BFE who have no cell service, no possible means of getting the internet, them having access to it. Like I said, it's just these ISPs like this. You're at the mercy of the ISP. Who is the one providing you access to the internet? Deorbited. Yeah, we're gonna use that. The deorbited. Yeah, and that's the thing, right, Rick? People, with the sonic booms and stuff like that. What goes up must come down, motherfuckers. It ain't going out into space. It's going boom and then do. I'm old enough to remember Skylab back in, 79. All the jokes about Skylab. You think space travel is a joke and scary? I mean, well, it is now because we don't have the technology to do it properly. But eventually, if we get our shit together, that's a big if, we could do that kind of stuff. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. His polished knob-headed suppository reveals a lot about him. But isn't Bezos, Bezos is the one with the dick rockets, right? Or is Elon got the dick rockets? I think that's what's going to happen next. If anything, we should be sending robots that we control into space and stop using people as political tools, right? Well, we're at that point where we're getting, when you combine the robotics and the AI, you might be able to have something like that. But the technology is nowhere near where it needs to be for like interstellar travel, at least anyway, right? I think you were programmed by pop culture into supporting the thought of space travel. No, I have my own mind, prop. I've been around longer than you have, and it wasn't just Star Trek, right? I actually saw rockets take off and take people to the moon. I'm old enough to remember that. So don't go judging people when you don't know them that well, okay? That's just a little tip from your Uncle Warren. We lost the technology in the direction. We did, Mariana. That was right. They said, well, we haven't gone back because we lost the technology. That's bullshit. The aliens on the moon said, away. Don't come back. Don't come back here. Lester Ernest, yeah, sure. But you can't poo-poo space travel. All right? We already know what's out there, kind of, in our little neighborhood, right? And we're discovering more and more. And that's what humans do. They want to explore. They want to get the fuck out of Dodge. They want to see what's out there. Personally, I hope that we get to the point where humanity becomes humanity again, and we can actually, when we go out into space for real and maybe actually meet other, societies or what civilizations out there, that we're not the greedy motherfuckers that we are right now. We're incredibly greedy, right? Some people are intentionally greedy because that's how they were programmed, but that's, that's how it is. Hey, Jim, what's going on? Good to see you, buddy. The damn Anunnaki. That's all well and good. So, but I don't give a fuck about the politics. All right. I know we're not going anywhere right now. So it's kind of a moot point to debate this when we're not even ready to get off the planet yet. It's once we have the technology and we are feasibly able to leave this planet and go somewhere else. But that's not going to be for a long. We're all of us are going to be all dead and gone by then. Unless you're the fucking Highlander, then we're all going to be dead. So it's kind of a moot point debating it right now. It is an actual fact that the acid that was going around the summer of the launch to the moon was one of the best ever summers for acid. I'll check him out, Sushi, all right? Stop it. Probe Uranus. living as a mole underground on Mars with water needing thawing and purification where the equator has continuous furious dust storms is not my sort of adventure. I don't blame you. Well, like I said, we're not ready. We're not ready to go, right? We're not ready to do shit on the moon yet, much less other places, right? I was talking to my buddy Rob, Dr. Science that comes on the show here. And, and he was telling me, he said that's probably one of the main reasons why we don't have bases on the moon right now is regolith, that dusty, the white powder, the moon cocaine, but the moon cocaine has very sharp edges to it. It's not like just regular ass dirt or sand. You know how sand is just kind of like, it's just sand. But this is just like very sharp particles that get into spacesuits and stuff. So what you need to do is first off, you need to design spacesuits that repel that shit, right? So you can get the shit off you. And they need to come up with more technologies to deal with that. So if you build a base on the moon, then you could start mining for H3. You could put your base near a crater or something that may have some ice formations in there, so you have a water source. Denver, you said might be an unpopular opinion, but I think acid is CIA MK Ultra juice. Well, they did use acid, right? But don't throw the baby out with the acid water. They could build a pipeline from Mars to spew the sewage on Uranus. Well, they talk about space elevators. Like if you've ever seen that movie Ad Astra, at the beginning they have this huge ass like 300-mile tower that they built. There's no way you could do that because the weight of the structure would just collapse upon itself. It's not like you can hang it up, have like some sort of, reinforcement on top of it to hold it in place. It's space, right? It's going to be like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years. We, build some sort of Dyson sphere around the sun. But yeah, so right now it looks like we're heading for alien, for that kind of future where everything is just going to be corporations flying around. And that, Sushi, is what I'm not a big fan of, is corporate fuckers flying all around here. I want to see true, pioneer exploration of the solar system, of the galaxy and of the universe, right? But it could be like the dark forest theory, though, where it's like, do you really want to know if there's anybody else out there, right? And are they dangerous like we are? We're dangerous. We're very dangerous, right? When you see these stories about grandma shooting aliens off her front porch down in the South, when they're, and then we just shoot first and then we don't even ask questions. Kill your egregories. Hello, good to see you, my friend. Just invest in astral projection, right? I think, yeah, that may be another thing too. We may need to try to develop our third eye, right? Like telekinesis, ESP, astral projection, stuff like that. Who knows? We have this weird stuff in our DNA that we don't know what they do. Maybe it's stuff that needs to be looked into, right? Yeah, this is Space Race 2.0 and super corporatized. You're exactly right. Yeah, the Weyland-Yutani group, which I didn't know this. A buddy of mine told me this the other day. It's the same company in Blade Runner is Weyland. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. It's a nice little tie-in. So, but who did it first? See, Alien came out in 1979, and I believe Blade Runner came out in 1980 or 1981, something like that. Very interesting type stuff. Hey, Ghost Start, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, we do. We do know more about space. We know, though. I'll tell you what I love is those new telescopes, right? The James Webb Space Telescope It's just finding all kinds of... That's the thing. The thing is, like, if we can stop with this bullshit down here and come together and start doing Star Trek shit, we can make like these super telescopes that can show us all kinds of shit. Probably, I would say within the next 100 years, you're going to see telescopes that can literally look on another planet and see if some motherfuckers are there. And you know the CIA and the NSA are going to be like, hey, you said you've got spying. You could look at other people's shit. Don't mind if you do. We are thinking about this linearly 2D, 3D thing. Yeah. I mean, that's not even to mention, like, you know, other dimensions and stuff like that. You know, is there a multiverse? You know, is there somebody out there like you? See, I think this all goes back to the mirror universe. Let's come back to it in our very special episode of Mornin Extra. Let's come back to the mirror universe, right? If you're a Star Trek fan, you've seen the episode where I think it's Kirk and McCoy and I think it's Mr. Scott. They had some sort of transporter accident and they end up in this alternate universe where everybody's just evil as fuck and you have very few people who are good. And it's like, that's it. This is the mirror universe. We're in the mirror universe. It's the mirror universe that's run by Hydra. Think about that. In the next 100 years, the fucking debris from this planet will be scattered over every other planet of the universe. I know, right? I'm saying, Kate, if things go positively, it could be, but you're probably right. We're going to blow each other up. Which leads, you know, like, were there prior civilizations that did the same thing? Maybe there were civilizations here millions of years ago. They blew themselves up. And then, you know, as time progressed and tectonics, you know, plates subverse under others and just erase everything. Who knows? But we're getting into like some, you know, crazy Mundus Ultra stuff. We should probably get back to this. So, let's see. Trying to see if there's anything else here. I'm going to kind of cut it short today, even though we've been on an hour and a half. But we'll get back more into like regular news on Monday. Less of my opinion. I just wanted to chat with you guys. So first off, I wanted to catch up and see how everybody's doing. And hey, Jacqueline Jack. Hi, ExtraBulla and everyone. I was just starting to watch something on Mint Press News about Project Lavender, but then I saw that this was on. Oh, I don't want you to compete with Mint Press News. I like those guys, but thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. How is everybody? How are you feeling? How's your mental health? Are you dealing with things okay? You know, it's tough, right? I think a lot of us don't want to share these anxieties with other people because we know other people have anxiety too. So we kind of keep it pent up, but you know, we really shouldn't. We should get together. We should talk about things and get, you know, if you have anxiety about what's going on, you're not the only one, right? You know, don't feel special. What are you, special? So as always, we have to keep an eye on these people, right? If we can't change things right now, we have to at least pay attention and educate those in their own little comfortable bubbles. Do it with love. You know, a lot of times they're just going to be like stuck in their own thing and they're not going to want to listen because what you're saying disrupts their whole comfort zone. You know, I can't be changing my mind about something like this. What will people at church think? What will people at work think? What will people at school, you know? And I'll tell you this, it's scary. But when you liberate yourself from the opinions of others, it's pretty, it's scary, but it's wonderful. It really is. I just noticed I got kind of like, what's his name? Who was that guy that was on late night TV? The tall redheaded guy. I kind of got his hair a little bit. Got a little Bob's Big Boy thing going on there. Yeah. So I think everybody's worried about what's going on in the world. And they should be. We just have to remember, you're not going to vote your way out of this. The people have been saying that for years now. We just got to get to the voting booth and make your choice. And no, when the game's already rigged off the bat, all you're doing is participating in a farce. That's time better spent, shutting down this bullshit that's going on. Oh, Conan. Thank you, Rick. Yeah, Conan. Yeah, Conan the librarian. He had like a kind of little thing going on there. Yeah, us gingers have to stick together. But yeah, so we have to tell our friends outside this space what's going on, or at the very least, if they're curious about something and they seek your opinion on something, then that's an opportunity for you to say, hey, look, I appreciate you coming to me and asking me about this, but you need to know what's really going on. And I hope that you're open to accepting this information, whether you believe it or not. At least I hope you're open to accepting it. And that's some of the things we need to do as communicators, is try and find those communication avenues with people, not just a one-size-fit-all approach, where if you try to tell somebody about something that they don't get it through their head, and, you just have to try a different approach, right? Sometimes you got to put the pill in the little piece of meat so the dog will eat it, right? You got to hide it in there, right? Exactly, P-Stub. Stop the Zionist AIPAC genocidal maniacs. I was talking to a friend yesterday about, so they said that was talking about Zionism. I said, yeah, that's Hydra. That's our biggest threat, I think, are these people who have seeped into every part of society and taken it over. They've gotten into your government. They've gotten into your media. They've gotten into your food supply, your water supply, your air supply, not the band. Although I'm pretty sure Air Supply, the band, might be Zionists too. I'm not sure. You know what's funny? There was like some sort of like a West Indian music festival going on several years ago in Brooklyn. And they had this poster with like all these different West Indian bands. And then they had Air Supply in them. Like, what the fuck? Guess which one is not like the other one? That's like the other one, not like the other one. Anyway, I thought that was kind of weird. But they've seeped into everything. And that's why the propaganda sticks, right? Especially like people, particularly from the 80s on, who have been propagandized, brainwashed, that sort of thing. I jokingly say the one sure way to make change on this planet is to pray for the sky rocks to hit. Like, come on, we're waiting, buddy. But how else? You would need a total reset on society around the world. A reset on thinking, something that totally dislodges the propaganda from the vernacular, right? You can't do that right now. People are trying. Thank God for the internet in that respect. Thank God for, cell phones that can transmit live video of heinous crimes that we would have never known about since the advent of these phones, right? The technology, for better or worse, is exposing a lot of this stuff. The question is, once it's exposed, how do you process that information, right? You think of yourself as some evangelical who's always thought of Israel as some sort of paradise or something, some sort of, it's in the Bible, it's the place for the chosen people and all this stuff. And then you actually see on a TikTok video or some video that is willing to carry it, an IDF soldier sniping a 4-year-old child in the head. If that doesn't change your mind about things, then what does that say about you? How darkened is your soul from all this propaganda, right? All these lies that you've been told your entire life. That is a lot of muck and mud to trudge through to try to get to somebody, right? You try your best, especially if it's somebody you love, like a family member, a good friend, or whoever, and you try to get through. But you're just so disappointed when some of them just saying, I think you're full of shit. I don't think you know what you're talking about. You know, these people are good. They're not killing anybody. There's no genocide. What are you talking about? You're crazy. And that's when well, no, you're not crazy. You're propagandized. So, quick death would be fine if I knew others didn't have to suffer. Well, that's what I'm saying is, you turn the world off and on and turn it back on again. Hey, Fred, what's going on? Fred's in the house. Good to see you, my man. You ordered Entenmann's crumb cake yesterday. Where is it? Why'd you have it sent here? You have that sent here. Nom noms. And then it turns into poo later. Because that's how literal shit works. But yeah, so I would just say, don't be discouraged. If you can't get through to somebody right away, maybe, rethink your tactics. Try and come at somebody from a different angle. Because you'd be pleasantly surprised at some people's reaction. They've just been in the shade this whole time. They haven't seen sunlight. They don't know what's going on. So you provide that sunlight and everything will be good. Okay, I'm just rambling at this point, but I think this was a good ease in show to get back into things. I appreciate all y'all who are watching and support the show too. Not just monetarily, but you come in and you talk in the chat and we have good conversations. And I love this community to death. I really do. I've been doing this streaming stuff, I don't know, maybe about 3 or 4 years now, and I remember back in radio, I used to love the radio community there and our television community when I worked in TV, when we'd have severe storms and stuff like that. We'd go out and try to provide as much information to the public as we could. And that's what we're trying to do here, just trying to provide information. And like I said, today was more of the ease in and opinions and stuff like that. But this is not going to be the regular show. It's good. We're going to go back to, 20, 30 stories. We'll get our propaganda watch back and all that good stuff. So again, Tuesdays and Fridays now are the new show dates. Same bat time at 10 a.m. Or 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, and 8 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, we have our buddies Chanda and Kevin. If you can make sure that you are supporting them, as she's doing a bang-up job kicking cancer in the ass. That's awesome. But, like I said, it's still expensive. And she could use all the financial help and, of course, love and support as well. And our buddy Kevin, y'all know him, Black Bear News, whose house burned down during the LA fires. He's got a solid spot there. He's still doing shows, but our buddy could use some help too. If you could help him out, everything is in the thing down below the description. I think that's what it is. And with us, if you could share, and subscribe if you're new, appreciate it. Watch us, we'll be back on Tuesdays and Tuesdays and Fridays doing this. The secret show, that's coming up. This guy, we're doing this shit again. Back to buck plugs. Don't say you weren't warned. That's tomorrow night, midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific time. So hopefully you'll be there for that. I feel a little bit more refreshed now. I think I got a little bit more energy now. I'm still sickened, and my anxiety is not very good when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I'm going to try to be a little bit better with that and hopefully provide you with more news information, that sort of thing. More interviews, more entertainment on the weekend. That's how we do it around here. So thank you to everybody on YouTube and Rockfin and Rumble. Appreciate all of yous. I love you to death. If you can donate to the show, I've got the crawl now has the donation links. I don't think anybody was really reading the news type stuff down there. So, and it was a little bit of a pain in the ass, put that down there. So So finally, our poll, we have a tie. Pretty fucked in prison honeymoon at 29%. No KY jelly here at 25%, and very fucked at 18%. You know things are really shit when very fucked is your last your least favorite option on that poll. So yeah, we'll be here tomorrow night for a secret show, and back Tuesday for this show in the morning, doing it well. Take care of yourselves. I love each and every one of you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on the flippity flip. Word to your mom and them.
This is City Alpha 5! Woo!
Soon.